he was begging me to put this in the rundown today. He said, McNuggets, if I don't predict who the Cavaliers will correctly select at number 49 tonight, along with the also 48-48, 100% hit rate of the first 49 picks, I will retire from the show. Those were words from his mouth to God's ear.
You know what I think? How about that Porzingis trade yesterday?
I don't.
We have it in. We're actually going to talk about DM. We'll say that for the very end here. Jason.
Oh, all right.
But real quick on the Cavs pick, I'll give you guys a little info, give you guys some potential picks, and then G. Bush, I know there's at least one guy you really like. There's someone I really like here who could be available. But for anyone who doesn't know, the NBA draft is tonight, and as we learned on yesterday's show, I don't think everyone really realizes the draft is actually happening tonight. There's been so little speculation because the number 1 overall pick is essentially a lock. It'll be Wembanyama, and the Cavs don't pick till number 49, but their draft pick information is right here. They have 1 pick in tonight's draft. It is number 49, and it is originally from Golden State, which has now been traded a bunch of different times, and this year's second-round pick is initially a Golden State pick.
I would love to see a spreadsheet. I'm probably the only person that would want to see this. But of every NBA draft pick in this year's draft, how many times they've been traded?
Like that pick, how many times that pick
how many times that
before?
Every pick in this draft has been traded, how many teams? Because NBA draft picks are traded like they're nothing. All the time. Guys.
Well, before you go.
Go ahead.
So I scoured and I found 5 of my favorite NBA mock draft guys who make mock drafts. This is from this morning.
By the way, you know what you should have done this segment? And 99% of the time you're on the ball, but you dropped the ball this time.
No, because I think I know what you're going to tell me to do, and I did it.
Go ahead.
One of these names in the mock draft is not real.
You got it.
On the same page.
That's it.
Can you point out which one of these guys who was mocked to the Cleveland Cavaliers is not real? So, Steve, let's take 191 full. 3 of these are real players. One of these is a mistake or a fake.
Okay.
Can
I
you
think
guess?
G mentioned the guy, one of those guys, so I think I know him. I honestly have no clue. These guys could all be fake as far as I know. I only know one because I think G mentioned him.
Bates is real. Bates is very real. And that's Bates in the picture. He's from Eastern Michigan, went to Memphis, was a top recruit, had some legal issues.
I'm going to say Azulis Tubelis is fake.
No, he's real.
Oh, he's real.
He's a forward for Arizona.
I was going to say Amari Moore.
Yeah, that's it.
Amari Moore is also real. He's
he is?
Tumani Camara
is also real. They're all 4 real, but I knew I could double mind trick you, reverse psychology to make you think I didn't know. These are all 4 real players.
I didn't know
these are who
Amari
they're
Moore.
projected
So
here.
none of us knew that all 4 of those guys were real.
I knew the other 3.
Yeah, no, all 4 of those guys are real.
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest. I love college basketball.
Yeah.
Tobias played at Arizona. He was a big part of their offense.
Yeah.
Amari Moore was a guy. He played at San Jose State. I had never heard of Tumani Camara. He is real, but I honestly never heard of him.
Yeah.
So those are the 4 guys mocked. There's a couple other guys that are at least tied to it. The names, I'll just run through them real quick. Jordan Walsh from Arkansas, Hunter Tyson, and Jalen Wilson from Kansas. I'll talk about Jalen Wilson later. But, G, I know you like Emoni Bates a lot.
Why?
Why do you like Emoni Bates, and why do you think he should be the pick tonight for the Cavs if he's still there?
Because he's highly touted. I think he was a 2-time or 3-time National Player of the Year. He won it as a junior. Went to Memphis as one of the top recruits, played for Penny Hardaway. Had some issues down there, but when you watch him play, he takes a lot of what people would consider bad shots that you may look frowned upon in college, but those are the type of shots that you need to hit in games in the NBA.
What trouble did he get into?
He moved from Memphis. He had some stuff back and forth with, like, I guess, his playing time. He never really had.
Did he get in trouble?
No, I don't think he got in trouble.
Did he get in trouble off the court, Mike, did you say?
Emoni Bates?
Yeah. Did he it went to the, or I don't want to say he had a pistol. Did he have a pistol?
I'm looking up. I
You know
believe
about
it was.
him, Jason,
I believe it
this
was
guy?
a
Have you
gun
heard of him?
charge.
I know he's got like some maturity issues, but I don't know. I don't remember what the specifics are. Listen. I know I covered the NBA for 10 years. I've paid 0 attention to this.
I don't give a rat's ass about any of these guys. Yeah. Percentage chance that whoever, let's say the Cavs stay at 49 or whatever, they draft the second, even if percentage chance this guy plays significant minutes this year.
1%, 5%. So Miami, we've used Miami as an example as a team that can get guys on the margins and turn them into productive players in 3 years.
Right.
Like, Gabe Vincent and Max Strus have been in the league for 4 years. it's hard to take a guy at 49.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cavs did it with Matthew Dellavedova, where he was an undrafted guy. If you're 40, what's the difference in 49 and 61? Like,
nothing.
Yeah. So
it's just I like this guy, you like that guy.
Right.
You know.
So we're basically talking.
They're all lottery tickets.
We're basically talking undrafted guys, 49, 49 and all.
He's
61.
He's like Porter. Like, remember they had Porter Jr.? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Porter was a first round pick.
Well, he was the last pick in the first round.
But he had
Porter was number 14.
Talent.
He was the last of the lottery.
Last of the
lottery.
No.
Porter Jr.
Porter Jr.
No, the Cavs. Porter guy that they traded to
Kevin
Houston.
Porter Jr.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr.
He had lottery talent, but off court issues.
Yep.
And that's why he fell to where he fell. But when you're picking at 49, I mean, maybe in an absolute best case scenario, you got a guy who might be able to hold a rotation spot by April, but even that's a stretch. I think you're looking at 2 years out.
Sign me
I just don't give a rat's ass who they
Especially
draft.
on a team like the Cavs that's trying to win now.
Plus, they've shown, in my opinion, I know you've made the case for Wade and what's the other guy?
Lamar Stevens.
I think they've brought him out of the useless category. I don't think they've brought him to the category where even Delly was, in my opinion. Or certainly where the guys in the Heat are, and they have better coaching there, so that's part of the reason they get that.
Well, Delly was also that was a bad team that he was drafted to with the Cavs. That's sort of why he got minutes right away. They weren't trying to win a championship right at the
right, but then he played when it mattered.
But by the time LeBron came back in that,
yeah.
But I'm saying he had a year of development on a team that wasn't very good.
That's fair.
So that's why I'm saying it's hard to be picked in this spot and to expect to compete or contribute to a championship.
I think when you talk about his game, if you watch his game, he can shoot the ball. He's 6'9", 6'10". He's long. It's a long arm. He's not going to wow you athletically, but he can hit tough shots. I like his game, and plus he was a couple years ago a top 10 player in the country.
Could he box me out, or would I physically dominate him?
I think you can physically dominate everybody in this class, Bull. I don't think there's anyone who can box you out.
Oh, I will box their asses right out.
I don't think he's boxing out Wemby.
On the Bates thing real quick, G.
Yeah.
So we were right. He was sentenced to 18 months of probation stemming from his arrest on felony gun charges. So there was a little legal issue. There is some maturity issues with him.
What happened there? Do we know what happened specifically?
No, I don't, and I'm in the middle of a show, so I'm not going to read the article to get all the details. There is one guy I really like, though, who I do think could be there at 49, and it's Jalen Wilson from Kansas. Now, I know you guys aren't huge college basketball guys. He was part of the national championship team last year. He was their third scorer behind Ochai Agbaji and Christian Brown, who both were drafted in the first round last year. He was their leading scorer this year. He's 6'7". I covered him in high school, so maybe I'm a little biased, but he's a 6'7" wing that hustles his ass off and makes the right basketball plays. I don't think he'll be a superstar. I don't think he has like top end potential, but I think he's a guy who's a junior, has been in college for 3 years through the Bill Self system that could come in, doesn't have to learn defensive principles, doesn't have to learn how to play basketball like a lot of these guys who get drafted.
Probably
with a ton
no
of potential
maturity issues with him.
No maturity issues. Great kid, comes from a great family. And he's a 6'7" wing who's not unathletic. He's not an athletic freak, but he's a 3-and-D mold guy who knows how to play basketball, and I don't think the Cavs have anyone on the roster within that build.
I think it's like when you look at these two guys, again, I know nothing about them until you guys mentioned them today. I don't know who's going to be the better player. They probably will both be useless in the NBA, but the guy G likes probably has more upside.
Way more.
Right?
Way more.
But maybe he's a clown. Whereas this guy is going to do all the right things. He's going to be a good teammate. He's going to work his ass off. But he has limited upside.
Correct.
He's going to reach a level, and he's just going to be a serviceable player. I think for drafting at 50, do you want to take a guy who's a pain in the ass but has some potential upside, or do you want to take a guy who you're like, I think this guy could end up being like a 10-year solid player in the league, but there's no chance he's ever going to be very good?
You're not going to get a guy at 50 who's going to be a 10-year solid player.
All right, well, maybe that's a little push.
You get those guys at like 18 to 23, 24.
So your philosophy, my philosophy,
maybe this guy's going to go higher, Mike.
I would pick every knucklehead shooting star I could find. Not literally shooting. That was a bad term.
Not bang bang.
Yeah, not
my
bang bang.
concern though is like, do the Cavs as an organization and as their roster and their coaching staff have the what's the word I'm looking for?
Wherewithal.
The infrastructure.
Well, that's the thing.
To deal with a guy who's a knucklehead.
Well, that's the thing.
I don't think they do.
They haven't shown the track record to do so. Like Porter.
They
Porter
invested
Jr.
a lot of time into Kevin Porter Jr. and finally gave up and sent him to Houston.
Where he's played well.
Yeah,
right?
but he's still a knucklehead.
Let me ask you guys this, and this goes back to the Bates, Wilson, but just in general picking at 49 here. Based on the Cavs' current situation, contractually, age of superstars, age of their better players, where this team projects the next couple of years, do they have time to be patient with a guy like a Bates who may have upside but needs to be an immediate piece of the rotation? Or do you think they'd be better off fitting in a guy who is just a guy?
But Mike, as Jason said, and he's 100% right, there's nobody they're drafting at 49 that's going to be a factor.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just in general. Like, is your philosophy on second-round picks, hey, take a home run swing?
I'm not because here's the thing. Here's how you get lucky. Like, there's organizations who do get lucky, and they do get that lottery ticket, and somebody turns out to be a Draymond Green, right? So, like, Kawhi Leonard was a late lottery ticket, right? Like, guys that are in that range where you're like, okay, I could get a guy that's going to come in and do his job, but the NBA is not about guys doing their job. You got to have bona fide ball players, and if you can have a core and just sneak around and find a diamond in the rough, you're like, oh, this is, like, to me, Darius Garland is a diamond in the rough. Like, when I watched Darius Garland in the beginning out of Vanderbilt, I'm like, this is what y'all got at 5? I'm like, this is not. But guess what? He developed. Now all of a sudden he's an all-star. You can sign him.
But that's not going to happen at 40. The odds of that at 49 are a million to one.
So what I'm saying is, the odds are 1,000,000 to 1. Pick the best player who you think is. Close your eyes. Who has the most potential and take him.
And then hope in 3 years it
pans out. If not, you're going to get red of him anyway.
All right. Can we talk about something else besides this draft?
Yeah, let's talk about the Porzingis trade real quick because I do think it was interesting.
So what was the final parameters when it was all said and done?
You take tag board full, Steve. Yeah. That's 5 seconds. We'll never get back. You're welcome, Bull. The final trade details of the Porzingis trade. The Celtics got Porzingis and 2 first-round picks in this deal, which seems like a heist. Porzingis obviously played 65 games last year, but has had some severe injury history throughout his career. The Grizzlies received Marcus Smart, and the Wizards got Tyus Jones, one of my favorite point guards, and a 2023 second-round pick. It's a 35th pick, so just outside the first round.
Yeah.
But essentially, they swapped Porzingis, who was on an expiring deal, for Tyus Jones and an early second-round pick.
So,
and the Wizards might be garbage.
Where did the Celtics?
The Wizards are trying to tank.
Where did the Celtics get those picks from?
Memphis.
Okay.
How are they able to trade first-round picks in back-to-back years, though?
So one's a Memphis pick, and then one's a pick from another team.
You just have to have a pick.
Okay. What's the other pick from? What team?
I'll get you the exact parameter.
Memphis is a good team, so that pick's not going to be a good pick.
I don't know that Boston. I was surprised by this.
Is Boston better now?
No.
So they got real quick the parameters. Jason, apologize for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
They got Memphis's first-round pick tonight, so 25 overall.
Okay.
And then Golden State's first-round pick next year.
All right, so those are going to be
2
low
late-round
first-round
picks.
picks. Although maybe Golden State goes off a cliff this year. Who knows? Jason,
I'm sure there's protections on
I
that.
looked at this trade. You guys know the NBA better than I do, but I looked at it and I said, I don't know, the Celtics better? I don't
know what they are. Marcus Smart was the heartbeat of what they do defensively, and they're such a defensive-minded team. I'd rather have Marcus Smart, I think, than Porzingis. So the first form of that deal when it was Brogdon, I thought, all right,
yeah, right,
yeah, okay, I like it. But when you're talking Marcus Smart, that's a different category. I was surprised
for an injury-prone player and 2 probably late. Well, one definitely late first-round.
Porzingis has a ton of talent. But
he never stays healthy.
And it's 1 year. You got 1 year with him at $36 million or whatever. I did not like this deal for Boston.
That just goes to show you. Listen, these dudes, you don't got time. Ain't no time for none of that. Like, because guess what? While this thing is moving down the tracks, you got Jason Tatum and you got Jaylen Brown. And they don't want to be there. Jaylen Brown feels like I'm that dude. And at some
point, not.
You try telling him that.
Yeah, well,
he's gonna get paid like that dude.
He's gonna get paid by that dude. And I think when you put Porzingis in the mix, what they're saying is the gamble is, okay, Marcus Smart is a nice defensive player, right? He's a nice pick. I saw him play against the Heat. They didn't have nobody, and we still lost. We can't lose to the Heat. and we're going to keep a defensive-minded player.
Right.
At least give me somebody else where they can't load on Jason Tatum, where you see him walking around with an ankle or something. And by the way, Jaylen Brown was not creating offense. He got the balls took from him 8 times in the game. So they're like, listen, if Porzingis will gamble, he's going to be hurt. But I need Porzingis for 50 games during the season and to be good in April, and he can spread the floor.
Mike, what's your take on it?
So I went to school in Boston, and a bunch of my friends are like diehard Celtics fans. So when I woke up and a lot of them live in LA now. So when I woke up this morning, the group chat had been blown up.
Right.
And I'm reading through all these texts. And I'm just going to share a couple of
These are a bunch of slapdicks. They're just Celtic fans, right?
We don't know what they say yet.
Pretty smart basketball people, though.
Okay.
Let's see what they say.
Marcus Smart is not the same Marcus Smart from 2 years ago. They said last year he has the mentality that he's the guy.
But are they biased because they're Celtic homers?
Little bit, but they're pretty good in this. Their opinion of Marcus Smart is his opinion of himself is he's the guy. Not Tatum, not Brown.
That's
it's
true.
Marcus Smart.
And he be pulling.
And he pulls like that. And as good as he was defensively 2 years ago, he had taken a major slide this year. And not that they don't still love Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
He's an integral part of what they've built in Boston. But in his mind, he was the alpha, and he was the third or fourth fiddle on this team, and that didn't mesh. So getting him out wasn't ideal. They would have much rather traded Brogdon. But according to Woj, that injury that Brogdon has, his contract's essentially untradeable. And they had too many good guards. Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, Marcus Smart. Peyton Pritchard's really good. Really good is probably an over-exaggeration, but he's a really solid rotational guard in the NBA. He couldn't see the court last year because he was their fifth
So they
guard.
felt like they had enough.
So they had to
there.
shuffle it up. And Porzingis, their take is, we don't have anyone that plays like him. And if he could replicate what he did in Washington this year, which he has not stayed healthy. Last year he was the healthiest he's been. That's probably asking too much to play 65 games again. But the overall construction of the roster fits a lot better with a guy like Porzingis to open up Pritchard's minutes than that.
And ultimately they feel like they don't care how many games he misses in the regular season. If he's healthy for the playoffs, they think they're better.
And also, I think that this is the first sort of signal of the new CBA, because I think Smart was making around $20 million, and with the money Brown's going to be making, like the second threshold is real with tax-paying teams.
Right.
And I think this is maybe the first signal of how real that is, that you had to move on from a guy like Marcus Smart, although Porzingis is making $37 million.
By the way, real quick, we got to go back to what does that mean? He pulls like that.
Shoots.
Like he be getting a rock and be like, oh, I'm him.
Pull it.
Like pulling the trigger.
He takes Marcus
I
Smart
thought that
is
was
the
like
king of
not
a sexual
conquest
thing.
of women comment.
No.
What?
Marcus Smart.
Pull it?
Hey, I pull joints. You know what I'm saying? I see it. Like that's why rap is so great. I can say I pull joints and it can mean 7 different things.
Yeah.
G. Bush, you watch a lot of basketball. Jason, you too. Marcus Smart is the king of pulling up, to your point, and you being like, no.
And he hit it.
And it makes it, you're like, oh, okay.
But it's devastating.
But he's the king of that.
It's devastating, though, McNuggets, because when he hits that one, you know in the back of his mind, I got it tonight. Yeah, I got 2 to 3 more shots that I'm going to jack up that I got the green light for because I just hit that first one.
Yeah, sometimes him making his first shot is the worst thing.
I said that about Lance Stevenson when the Cavs played the Pacers. You want him to make the first 3 because you know 6 more are coming right after it.
What are we expecting? Any other big trades between tonight and the draft? You know,
There's always
everybody about to get traded.
There's always going to be,
except for
like any big names, I should say.
I think Damian Lillard could get moved.
But I've been hearing people say that they're not taking no phone calls. But then when somebody says they're not taking any calls, you're lying.
Yeah, you can't.
Come on.
I'm not saying he will. I think there's a chance.
But I just seriously don't see what the upside in keeping Damian Lillard is. I just don't.
For Portland?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Well, you're signaling a full rebuild if you move him.
That's what was going to happen.
And the West is not. I mean, the West is open.
And they got no other sports in Portland.
Yeah, if you can add to what you've got, you always feel like you're in it.
You think the West is open like that for the Portland Trailblazers? Like the Denver Nuggets look like a solid.
Denver's legit. Denver's
legit.
for sure legit. But I mean, I don't think Denver is the 73-win Warriors. They can still be beaten. So I don't think every team in the West is going, oh, we better cash in our chips and wait 3 more years because Denver's here.
Who are some other big names that you guys think might get traded? Could get traded.
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris could definitely be traded.
Yeah.
Didn't I see somebody who's probably Tyvus with some wackadoodle website saying that Tobias Harris to the Cavs. I don't know how that would be possible.
They have to match his $39 million salary.
They ain't got no money.
Unless they're giving up Jared Allen, the Sixers want nothing to do with another center.
Yeah.
They have Joel Embiid.
They're not. Are you asking, are the Cavs getting somebody? No.
The Cavs are not getting anybody, right?
They're not.
I mean, not
no
anyone's
significant.
not blockbuster deal. No.
They ain't got.
Then why do we got to watch the draft?
You don't. I'm going to swim
Steve
meet
Beck
tonight.
is going to text us
I got
for a
swim
short
meet.
on pick
I
4.
got announce.
Oh, the short coming. Short coming.
I'll be announcing at the Avon Lake Pool tonight against North Olmsted for the swim meet. I got a bullhorn announce, not announce PA, but like get the kids ready and lined up and everything for the next event.
There's jobs for that too.
I did not sign up for this.
How did you get stuck with this gig?
How do you think?